your safety and your well-being, that you don't get stuck with cafeteria duty and lunch duty your first year, or even recess duty, but more cafeteria duty. I would never put a first-year teacher in cafeteria duty, because once they start lining up, there's no such thing as a single file line. Think about having 160 children in one room and trying to get them all to go up. I mean, unless you do it one at a time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way down the line, that's the only way that it's going to work. And if so, do you have enough staff and enough stakeholders to be involved in this procedure? So, you know, that's a learned behavior. It's modeled aggression. Peers reinforce it. If you see somebody, you know, picking on somebody else and that's your friend, you know, most likely an aggressive person will jump in and pick on the person as well. When somebody sees it taking place and lets it happen, you know, that's even worse, because they're learning, I better not do anything about it. If somebody's being bullied or picked on, that can be a problem, and you got to do something as an educator to stop it. Media and aggression, you know, there's a ton of research that's been done on media and aggression. As I'm recording this video, I finished up a paper that I'm hoping gets accepted in a journal on Monsters University, basically showing how that movie really pushes stereotypes in that. I'm a Disney geek, I love Disney, but it's probably the first Disney movie that had me stop and think, something's wrong here. And think about it, if you watch Monsters University, you know, the end message was, you don't need college to be successful. That's what they tried to show. They promoted cliques and groups, and they promoted cultural capital, and cultural capital was basically, you know, the Sully character saying, I can get everything I want because my dad was a scare. And so I was looking at it, and I'm thinking about this as I record this today. You know, that's a perfect example of media and aggression from something that you wouldn't necessarily think it is. But unless you watch and you monitor television, you really have no control over that. And children are going to watch probably 2 to 3 hours of television a day. Some households, children watch 5 to 6 hours of television a day. I was never much of a TV watcher. I played video games growing up, but you know, you can make the argument that's even worse. One of the big things, you know, the textbook says that media violence will increase aggression, it allows for the acceptance, and it increases fear. The biggest thing that I've seen is sort of this concept of acceptance. If you see it on the media and you see it on television and it's a common practice, then it allows for its acceptance to happen, and that can be a challenge. So media violence, just a quick definition of it, you know, it's hostility shown in DVDs, movies, video games, and other screens. You do a quick search on Google for scholarly articles on media violence. I have not done this yet. I'm going to take a guess. I'm going to guess that if I go to Google Scholar, I'm going to say that I will find I'm going to find 12,000 articles on media violence. That is my guess. We will see what if I'm on, not on. 16,700 articles. So I underestimated that. Wow, there's 4,000 more, and that's, you know, there are 16,700 articles published on media violence. And if you've never used Google Scholar, they always put the most cited ones up in the beginning, and you'll see here's one from 86, 2002, 2001. If I were to look at 2015, 693 articles have already been published on media violence in 1 year alone. So this is not going away. There's going to be research on it. It's going to continue to happen. And you're going to face this a lot more if you're teaching in the upper elementary grades, because you have to find a root for the cause of behavior. So media violence, it exists. There are articles on it. You take it for what you will. And honestly, you make your own judgments on this stuff. This is one that it's difficult for me to kind of put myself in the position of people, because I believe in this notion that everybody has their own perspective on things. You know, you have your own ethical threshold, you have your own thresholds for what's right and wrong, and you got to determine what you think of media violence. Some people think it's a big problem, some people don't, and it's not my place to really say that. But what can you do? I give you the list that's provided in the book, but. If I'm a parent, and when I'm going to be a parent, when, you know, we have kids, My wife and I plan to know what our children are watching on television. I think this is the most important thing. Even if you are an early childhood teacher and you see aggressive behavior going on, comment on it, mention it. You're going to watch movies and you're going to see things that could potentially be conflicts or dangers, and that's probably the best thing you can do as an educator. So I always struggle. If this was face-to-face, we would be doing a lot of discussion on this chapter because it's a tough chapter to teach. I can do a lot. I can tell you a lot about classroom management. I can tell you a lot about what makes somebody authoritative versus authoritarian. This is difficult because unless you're good at sensing when a problem could occur, things are going to happen to you, and it's going to cause you issues as new teachers and people that are working with children. And it's something that some people have and some people don't have. But what I always tell people is to think about the type of people that are likely to get bullied, ways that you can tell that it's happening, putting people in positions where they could get bullied. That's always the worst. The one I hate the most, and if I was your building principal and you were a teacher in my building and you had children pick, team captain A, team captain B, pick the children, I would be writing you up for that. I think that's despicable. But that's something for me. You're promoting bullying. You're promoting somebody being picked on. You were picked last. Watch for warning signs and watch for things like that. It's difficult. It's tough to talk about this stuff because you're going to see media violence covered on the news. You're going to see the news is media violence itself too. You're going to see children that are put in difficult positions and that commit suicide because of bullying, and it's not going to stop. And your goal as an educator is to control what you can and to create the most inclusive environment where children feel safe. And if you do it at a young age, it's going to continue on in middle and high school. I'm a realist, and I believe things can be changed in later in life, but everything that I believe in my heart that I teach in any of my classes really starts with the young kids, and bullying is one of them that if you quell it early, you got a better shot when you get to middle school and high school. And in high school, it's not going to get stopped. If it wasn't stopped in middle or elementary school, I have a little faith in even a good teacher to stop it. So some ideas, some things to think about. Like I said, this is a tough chapter. It's always difficult to think about this, think about our own experiences and ways that we can really make it work as a teacher. And you're going to make mistakes. I made mistakes. And it's how you recover from it, and it's what you do. It's going to make you an effective educator. So if you have any questions on this chapter, any stories, please feel free to share with me. I look forward to your feedback on our discussion boards because I really think a lot of good can be said about this chapter. So thank you very much for watching.